Okay, we are live. We are live. So I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds for everybody to come in. Cool, cool. I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds. We just went live on IG. So this live is gonna be pretty interesting. This live is gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna be talking about why you are broke at 60K and how to fix it. Right? The real reason you're not getting hired. And why certifications, they are the biggest trap. They're the biggest misconception that most people have. You do not want to fall into the trap of what everybody tells you online, right? And so today we're going to get into it. So how many of you guys, if you're ever trying to get a job, you're saying, okay, I need to get a job. I need to go ahead and apply to a job. Go ahead and type in 1%. I'm going to show you like why that is the worst way of getting a job. I'm going to show you why you keep on getting rejected by recruiters. How many of you, when you're trying to get a job, you will apply to the job? There's 99% of people that only know one way of trying to get a job. He said 60K. He said, I got $60. All right, cool. 1%, 1%. Now, what's going on, Trey? Now, 99% of people, they only know one way of getting an offer letter. Did you know that there are 5 ways of getting an offer letter? Applying to jobs, they have a 2 to 3% conversion rate to an offer letter. How many of you have ever applied to like a bunch of jobs and you got denied a bunch of times? Okay, I'm going to show you why. Go ahead and type in 1% if that's ever happened to you. Do tell. Cool, cool. Now, he said, Mr. Start. Nah, Neski, I literally just started. And so now you're fine. So let me tell you why. Now, I paid around 5 figures for a mentor. He had 25 years of experience recruiting. He worked at Meta. He worked at almost at Facebook. He worked at Meta, Netflix, like all the fancy names for 25 years of experience. He literally told me he would put out a job application, right? Put on a job board, and because compliance, like he actually needed to do that for his job. But he would not even look at the resumes. Oh, Alex, you came back. Nice. Now I'm gonna get to that. I got you. So right after this, I got you. All right. And so he would not even look at the resumes. He would go search for people on LinkedIn Recruiter and reach out to them. And so I don't know. I think one of my students I don't know if he's still on here. His name is Trey. He's one of my students, but he actually understands the system of how he gets recruiters to reach out to him. I love your content. I appreciate it, boss. I appreciate it. Right? There is a way to have recruiters reach out to you. And that's what we're going to get into today. And so this is something that I really do share with my proprietary students. I said proprietary, for my private students. But before we get into that, I do have a gift. How many of you guys actually, so yesterday on the live, I said I'm going to have a gift, something I've never done before, but you have to DM me. For those who are interested in my program, go ahead and DM me the word 1% gift. How many of you guys actually DM me the word 1% gift? Anybody? Say I did in the chat. Type a I did in the chat. Okay? I did in the chat. Attract, not chase. I'm trying to tell you. Attract, not chase. Alex, I see you. Let me actually look, because I'm a vet you guys, whoever did it. Alex might be the only person who did. He might be the only person that got the gift. Okay. Cool. So let's see. Alex, you said I did. I was the first to do it. What was your program offer? What does your program? I teach people how to make $500,000 a year working 2 to 3 hours a day. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I do. And if you, sounds crazy, right? But just look at my Instagram, look at my highlights, you'll be able to see countless testimonials. And yeah, that's what I do. A voucher for a new class, DJ Stunt, close, right? Very close. It's an extreme discount. What's your perspective on prioritizing building home labs over certifications and resume? I'm going to pull this up again. I'm going to use these as examples. I got these little certifications, right? I got these because a lot of people they just be talking online, right? But I actually have experience. I got a big ass college degree, right? Frostburg State University. I did Tayo, Michael Ibija Milusi, right? The degree of Bachelor's of Science. You are going to be broke if you continue. It says it right there. You're going to be broke, okay? You're going to drive Uber Eats. You paid $70,000 for this piece of paper that means nothing. Wow, this looks so good. If only I knew better, right? If only somebody had told me that it was a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I got this Security Plus, right? It says, congratulations, you've now reached the level of extreme brokenness. You are not going to get a job. No recruiters are going to reach out to you. This is actually kind of crazy because if only I knew. If only I knew, right? And then we got A plus. A plus says, I don't even know why you got this certification. What's up with you? Who told you to get this? You just wasted so much money and time. That's crazy. Wow. that's crazy. Right? And so I got you guys with the gift. Don't worry. I got you guys with the gift. But the question, what's your perspective on prioritizing building home labs over certifications and resumes? I got these certifications because I listened to what everybody said. Hey, get your certs, get your certs. I did that. I was driving Uber Eats, struggling. I'm gonna find a video, if I still have a video of me driving Uber Eats. I have to dig. But I was literally trying to average $10 an hour. I was so broke, I had to ask my mom for money to put gas in my car to do Uber Eats. And so, I mean, that is my experience by studying, get degrees, get into debt, get certifications, 5 years. That's the outcome, right? I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's what I did. But to get offer letters, I built projects. I understood what they needed by going to google.com, typing in AWS Cloud Engineer jobs, remote jobs. I copied and pasted 20 job descriptions, put it in the ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT, analyze these 20 jobs, do some market research on top of that, and look at all of the projects, look at all of the problems that this business have and the projects that I can build to solve those problems. I did those projects. I asked ChatGPT to build me the resume that's SEO optimized. That's important. That's how you get recruiters to reach out to you, right? SEO optimized. And then it built me the resume. And I'm not finessing because I actually built those projects. And then I put my resume out there. I was posting on LinkedIn about the things that I've done so they can see that I'm active. It's like an algorithm. They can see who's active. And they'll reach out to more people like that. That's a big tip. Don't let that go over your head. It's something that I really just share in my private community. Then people reach out to me and then I say, hey, I've done this. I see that you need this. I've done X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. That's the screening. We're going to submit your profile to the hiring manager. I get the interview. I go on an interview and they say, hey, blah, blah, blah. We're this company. We've been in business for 5 years. We're trying to look for somebody, for a cloud engineer to add to our team. Tell me about yourself. This is what I say. Yeah, sure. But before I tell you about myself, do you mind if I ask you a question? Yes. So sure, go ahead. Thank you so much. The person that you're looking to hire within 3 to 6 months, what are you looking for him to solve? Like, what do you need? You're literally asking this person, what do you need? And he says, okay, we're looking for someone within 3 to 6 months to be able to use Terraform to build out infrastructure because we don't really have someone that can automate different services. We're migrating from on-prem to AWS, cloud migration project. That's one of the projects that the market needs right now. Another side note, big gem that I just gave you guys. Okay. They'll say, hey, we need somebody who has experience containerizing applications because we just actually acquired this software called X, Y, and Z. We have the source code, but we want to be able to containerize it and deploy it in AWS and add a little bit of sense of reliability, maybe have different like EC2s hosting the application. So we probably need somebody that has experience with using Terraform to build out the infrastructure, add an application load balancer, understand security, so understanding VPC, like literally they will tell you what they need. And then guess what you do? You literally, this is what you do. It's not even rocket science. This right here, I literally dropped out of Frostburg. I was trying to be a nurse because I love to help people. But you got a white poop. I ain't know you got clean poop. So I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I don't know about that. But literally, that was harder than getting, like this degree was so much harder than actually what I'm telling you guys. It's like the biggest scam. I did something harder and I got nothing from it. And then I did this that was so much easier and I got so much more. So let's get back to it. Now, once they tell you what they need, you just tell them the projects and experience that you've done that's related to what they just told you that they need. But you already know what they need because you went to Google, copied and pasted 20 job descriptions, put that in the ChatGPT. You guys picking up, top of 1% if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. This stuff is not even that complicated. Top of 1% in the chat if you guys are following along and picking up what I'm putting down. You say, it's a bit of a personal question. Sorry, I read that wrong. Did I come from money? Did I come from a lot of money? My parents came to the States, I don't know what year, but my parents, I'm Nigerian. They came to the US. They started at the bottom, right? My mom worked not even a nursing assistant. She wasn't even an LPN, and she went to school. She got her LPN, and then she did RN, and then she did BSN, and then she got her master's, and then she got her doctor's, right? She started from the bottom. They built themselves up. My dad too as well went to school. My dad actually taught A+. That's where I learned computers. But no, so my main point is my family, we started at the bottom and we built ourselves up. I was fortunate enough for my family to provide for me. I wasn't struggling. I've never had to worry about where a meal would come from, right? We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. And so I don't come from a lot of money. I worked my ass off. And my parents did too. But anyways, that's besides the point. Going back to what you guys care about, how you guys can make some money. Okay? I don't think you guys really care about my personal story like that. And so, maybe. So literally, all right, you guys put 1%, 99%. Basically, study for the exam. Literally, look how easy this is. You understood what. Okay, put it like this. I like to use analogies when I teach. I teach in my private students. I make it in a way that anybody can understand. Imagine this. Imagine you're trying to get a girl. All my guys that's on the chat, I'm going to flip it to girls too as well. All my guys in this chat right now, top of 1%. I'm going to make it so easy that you guys are going to understand how it works. It's going to be crazy. So, top of 1%, all my guys, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. All right, 1%. Cool. Nice. So I see you guys. Now, look how simple this is, y'all. Imagine you see a beautiful woman. Imagine you see a company that's trying to pay you 6 figures. And then you have a sister that you ask, hey, what do women want? And you have Google ChatGPT that you can ask, hey, what do companies want? What do they need? What's their pain? And your sister says, hey, I'm looking for a man. Most women want a man that can provide security, that can provide them safety, physically and financially. Top of 1% in the chat if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right? I'm making sure you guys can see the analogy. When it comes to making 6 figures in tech, You have to understand the needs and the desires, and you need to understand the problems that a company has. For my men out there, you need to understand, I'm just using an analogy. You need to understand the problems and the needs that a woman has. Cool, cool, cool. Now, your sister is going to say women are looking for a man that can provide security, that can really understand me, right? That can provide financial security. Like they don't want to, when you're around a woman, when I'm around like a woman, right? I'm going out to taking them on a dinner day or whatever. They don't even have to think. I've heard a woman says, I love being around you because I don't even have to think. I was like, what? That didn't make sense for me. But look, that's what that they don't want to think. They want to just trust the man is going to plan the date, right? Take care of everything, provide security financially, all this stuff. She said, indeed, right? Now, I literally have a cheat code. My sister is a woman, and she's saying, I don't have her sister, I'm just using an analogy, but my sister is saying, woman, we want this. Google and ChatGPT is saying this business. When you go to Google and you type in AWS Cloud Engineer jobs and you look at the job description, it literally says responsibility, requirements. That is literally them saying this is what we need. When a job is posted, what goes on behind the scenes? Remember, I said I paid 5 figures for a recruiter to teach me this stuff. He literally said, what happens is a recruiter will have a conversation with the hiring manager. Once that happens, the recruiter is going to ask the hiring manager, right? What are you looking for? What do you need? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? And then the hiring manager is going to say, we're looking for someone that has AWS experience, that knows about EC2, S3, that we need somebody that has IAC, Terraform, IAC tool, Terraform or CloudFormation. We need somebody that has CI/CD pipeline, Jenkins, GitHub Actions. Like literally, they will tell you what they need. The job description is literally that conversation that they had. And typically they prioritize like the top of the bullet point more than the one that's on the bottom. Like they say, like listed in order and priority. That's another note you guys got to pick up. The higher the bullet point, the more that's what they focus on. Not all jobs, but for some jobs, that's it. You'll see when you go on an interview, and then they kind of focus on the top bullet points. Now, literally, I Googled the job descriptions. I put 20 of them in a Google Doc, and I put that into ChatGPT, and I say, yo, what's the common thing? What's the common problem? What's the common need that I can build projects? That's like going to 20 different girls and asking them, what do you want in a man? So all my men out there, you guys picking up what I'm putting down? I'm teaching you some game too. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? All my men. Top of 1%, 1%, 1%. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, so Alex, so come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow because I already got into it. I didn't even know. But I am gonna have a gift. It's gonna be something related to the program that it's gonna be very accessible for just anybody. And so yeah, it's gonna be kind of cool. All right, cool, nice. All right, so the issue is a lot. The issue is it's a lot to learn. I will say this: cloud. There is a bunch of different tools and it is a lot. I don't know who got the gift. I'm going to do a raffle. It is a lot to learn. But the good thing about it, because there's like 8 or 9 different tools you have to learn. But the reason why I love it is because you just need to know the basics. You don't need to be an expert. You need to know the basics and then put them together. When I first learned cloud, I was like, yo, this is kind of overwhelming. I don't want to learn all this stuff. And then the second time I went back to the material, I was like, yo, this is still kind of like, but it was all right, I'm kind of used to it. The third time I went back to it, I was like, okay. The fourth time I went back to the material, I was like, okay, this is like nothing. And so like, it is a lot, but you just have to ask yourself what you want. I wanted to make more money and work less, and I knew that I can actually learn it in a certain amount of time. It took me 2 months from start to finish to go from, I was making $55K as a help desk analyst, remote, to $135,000. Right? And so I almost tripled my income. But that is what I wanted though. Okay, you have to ask yourself what you want. And so, how much is the class? So it depends on the support that you need. I will say this: we've done a lot of work to make it affordable for most people, and we've done a lot. And so, but it depends on the type of support you need. We don't accept just anybody. We do qualify, right? Because we're looking for someone that's actually ready to commit, that's actually ready to go through the step-by-step formula. You'll be surprised, not everybody can follow directions. Because those are if you look at my Instagram page or my highlights, you'll see countless offer letters. Our last offer letter was yesterday. Christopher, he just got an offer letter for $95 an hour. That's $197,000 a year. And that's his third offer letter. And he joined January 13th. So it's been 2 months and 6 days. But we qualified him and we made it affordable for him, right? And so we made it work for him. So, anyways, so and so the program is 8 weeks. Alex, you said, so will you announce the winners today or tomorrow? Sorry for asking. No, you're good. But you can ask as many questions as you want. I'm not going to lie. I have to actually, and this is my mistake, I have to go and talk to my team and ask them to get all the people that said 1% gift. And so they'll put that in a raffle, right? And I'm going to show y'all the raffle so you guys can see it. And it's going to select the winner. And so, yeah, today's been a little bit crazy, but let me actually text my team now because you guys will not believe how busy I am. I work a lot to kind of get this program going and moving. And so I'm texting my team. I'm saying raffle, 1% gift. People commented on live. Send me all the IG names of the people who did that. Okay, Sunday, and then cool. Got 2 people on there. So that was just sent out. So they'll send me those names, and then tomorrow on the live, I'm gonna have a raffle. It's either I'm gonna do it already, or I'll do it live. I'll do it live. I'll just have it on my phone and show you guys. And then there's gonna be I'll say it will probably be one of the most life-changing gift I will ever give out to somebody if they will take it serious. So Christopher just got an offer letter yesterday for $95 an hour. That's $197,000 a year, remote. You can see it on the highlights. You can look at everybody that's gotten offer letters. I show people how to make $500,000 a year, which is $25,000 a month after tax in the state of Maryland, right? And our program is 8 weeks. Doesn't mean in 8 weeks you'll get an offer letter. I'm very transparent. On average, it takes 2 to 5 months that I've seen people who are serious to get offer letters. I don't know when you'll get an offer letter. Nobody knows that, but that's just the average. So of people who take it serious. And so if you're interested on learning to see if you do qualify, go ahead and DM me the word 1%, and me and my team will reach out to you to show you how to get started. Now, what I want to just explain, it's very simple. You just need to understand people's problems. The way I said that, it reminded me of this GIF. Anyways, I gotta remain professional. It's the gift that's like, I don't want peace, I want problems. But you want to understand people's problems. You want to understand businesses' problems. Because if you understand their problems and you create a solution for it, the projects, the tech challenges, this right here, this does not tell me or any employer that I can solve their problem. You can cheat. How many of you guys ever cheated on a test? Type of 1% if you ever cheated on the test. You can cheat on these exams. Type of 1% if you ever cheated. All right, cool. So I don't offer one-on-ones. I'll put this into perspective. Can you please mention the lease payment? So it really just depends, right? So we go over everything on a call. We don't mention any price because it's, number one, we have to understand your situation. And so, but nonetheless, it depends on how much support you need. But at the same time, like, you do not have to join our program. There's free resources online you can search up for, and you can still be successful. And then there's other programs too as well. Other programs, they have their prices, and so we just don't have that, right? So we're very intentional with working with people for their specific situation, because it's not all the same. And so, but we make it in a way that almost anybody can get access to the program. So money is not an issue, and I say that lightly. But anyways, so you said, do you offer one-on-one calls to understand the program better? So I don't do one-on-one calls. So my one-on-one. So I do have one-on-one mentorships. There's two people inside of it right now. The only way that you can actually get access to my one-on-one, just to let you guys know, is you're in my program already. You're making $500,000 a year already, right? And then I'm showing you how to build your wealth, how to build your net worth. I show you how to go from where you are to $1 million net worth. I charge $300,000 for my one-on-ones. Right now, it is not available. And so obviously a lot of people is not going to be able to afford that, which is fine, right? So that's why I like to come on these lives. That's why I like to post content, so you guys can pick up some things and apply some things, right? That you can apply, and you can actually get somewhere, right? Make some money. And even if you don't join, you don't have to join my program, but you can still apply the knowledge that I'm sharing for yourself to actually get better, like improve your financial situation. And so the price of the program, that is a deep conversation that we typically have for our students. Right now we have 326 students. Actually, we just got two more students. So we have 300 and let me see announcements. We have 326 students right now. And so those are the people that said yes. I want some help, and we had a deep conversation. We look at the support that they needed, and then we have an admissions team that have these conversations, and they work with them in terms of the pricing and how it would work for them. And so we work for pretty much, we work with a lot of people. So on the price it varies. Yes, 300. I charge $300,000. If you look at on my Instagram highlights, I have a section that says $1 million. So I would say yes, it is we make it affordable. There's a lot of things that we've like partnered with different companies. We've partnered with different resources to make the program affordable for just almost anybody. And so, but we do qualify people. We don't just accept anybody. And so, anyways, but nonetheless, just going back to the point, I want to get back. I want to give you guys some value, and I just told you. So literally, I just told you how to go from zero to $500,000 a year. Like, you just understand what they need. You build the projects. You build the solution, and then you communicate that solution on an interview. But before you communicate, most people make the biggest mistake. They will ask you, tell me about yourself. Right. And then you'll say, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. That's like going to a car dealership and you want a Tesla. And the salesman is like, oh, we have a Toyota, right? We have a Honda, we have a, we have a Ferrari, right? We have a Porsche, we have the Tesla. But we have this right here, we have the Camry, we have this. But you're like, yo, I want a Tesla. But then, like, if you go to another dealership and you say, hey, I'm looking for a Tesla, they won't show you anything else but the Tesla. Now, why does this make sense? Like, so when you go to an interview, you ask them, what is, so when they say, tell me about yourself, you will say, before I actually get into it, do you mind if I would like to ask you a question? They say, okay, sure. You say, I'm gonna give you the exact script that I give to my students. I'm gonna give you the exact scripts. So I'm gonna post it in the chat. I'm giving y'all some gems. I'm gonna post it in the chat. So there's questions that you ask before you speak, before you tell them about yourself. And then there's 5 questions you need to ask, the post questions. When they ask you, do you have any questions? Most people say no. That is like, it's the worst thing you can do. And so I'm going to post it on YouTube, and then I'll post it on Instagram. Dang, my battery's about to die. And I told myself I wasn't going to charge it because I didn't plan on being here for long. And so I'm going to post it on, I don't know if it's going to let me post it. I want to know who is able to afford $300,000 in one-on-one mentorship. You'd be surprised who can afford it. And so a lot of people, you know, so keep in mind, when I started investing in myself, I can't post it for some reason. And so I'll just speak it to you. But what I want to say is, when I started investing in myself, it was December 2021. I did not have the money to invest. I had $200 every single month after paying expenses, and I was living with my parents. And they weren't asking me for rent. I was still broke, right? Remember the Uber Eats. But there was a program, right? It was Learning How to Day Trade by Jessica Lane. She was my first mentor. She's amazing. I love her. She changed my life. Her price was $3,000. I literally said, no, I can't afford it. And I chose an option for $111. Now, this is the most important thing I want you guys to understand. I thought, wow, I got something cheap. Cool. I'm winning. In a week, no, it was 2 weeks day trading. Like, I learned it and then I started day trading. In like a day or two, I had lost $1,500. There is the price of something, and there is the hidden cost and opportunity cost and ignorance tax. And so what I did, I said, wow, I'm already paying money by not knowing what to do. I'ma just find a way. So a lot of people say, Robert Kiyosaki, I love this guy. He says most people are not financially like sane. Like they're they're intellectually lazy in a sense. And I was intellectually lazy because I would say I can't afford it. But I should have asked, how can I afford it? Because once I asked that, because I knew about this. But then when I had lost $1,500 being cheap, I said, oh, how can I afford this? Because Jessica Lane, she has it on her page. Somebody took $500 to $800,000, right? And it sounds crazy, but this is the importance of having valuable skills. Okay, cool. Oh, you guys can still hear me. I thought this don't cut off. And so I wonder why that cut off. That's interesting. Testing. You guys still hear me? Good to go? Good to go? Okay. Okay, cool. Can you guys still hear me? If you guys, type of 1% if you guys can still hear me. Just say 2 if you guys can't. So I'm going to continue. So literally, I ended up paying $1,500 because I didn't know what to do. And then I already lost time, meaning I could have started making money earlier if I just did the program before. Like literally, okay, for example, one of my students, his name is Greg. Greg waited, he got on a call with me. At the time, I didn't have like my admissions team. He got on a call with me and he was like, at the end of the call, he said, he was just, I forgot what he said. He waited 3 months and he was looking at me posting different offer letters and he texted me. He said, Tyle, I need to know how to make $500,000 because somebody just did, right? And I said, cool. We got on the call, right? We went over the onboarding. In 1 month and 21 days, he got 2 offer letters on the same day, $300,000 a year. If you don't believe me, go to my Instagram. After that, a month and 21 days, right? A month after that, he was able to generate 3 more offer letters. Those are around $600,000 to $700,000 in offer letters. He could have had that 3 months ago. So he paid money in opportunity cost because that money could have been in his pocket. But he said no. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was. Maybe he didn't trust me. Maybe he thought I was capping, which is, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I told him the same thing I'm telling you guys. I said, like, realistically speaking, right? Do not join this program if you're not ready to commit, if you're not ready, right? Because even with, it wasn't even a money thing, right? Greg was already making decent money. He was making six figures, but he wanted to learn how to get to $200,000, sorry, $500,000. And so I literally had the step-by-step blueprint, but Greg took action. Greg literally took this serious. That's why he was able to see amazing results at a short amount of time. And that's not normal. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to you, right? No one knows. But what I do know is everybody that has implemented my blueprint, they have received offer letters. There's people that's going on interviews right now, right? They're going on interviews right now. I post it every day on my story. And so, yeah, we go over everything on the call. We don't like it really varies. I would say we create solutions for people to actually gain access to the program. And so if you do qualify, and so if you're interested, go ahead and DM me the word 1% to see if you qualify to get started today. Now, the question you need to ask, oh, you're funny. Cam, that's funny. Going back to the question that you pasted in the chat, do you ask that after the interview or when do you say, when you get on an interview, they say, hey, Tile, thank you for joining the interview. We're at the 1% University. We are a cloud education business. We teach people how to go from $0 to $500,000 a year as a cloud engineer, working 2 to 3 hours a day on average. And we're looking to bring in a cloud engineer. And so, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. This is what you say. Thank you so much for letting me know, for your, the background of the company. Before I start, do you mind if I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you so much. So here's the question. What are some of the problems that you're currently facing on this specific team that someone who would get hired would be able to solve? That's like telling, what's going on, Renee? That's like telling a girl, so going back to the girl analogy, right? The woman analogy, that's like asking a woman, hey, what is your deepest desire that you want in a man? And the hiring manager, whoever's interviewing you, they're going to say, yes, we're looking for someone that has Terraform experience. We're looking for someone that's able to build infrastructure using different IAC tools, Terraform, CloudFormation. We're looking for someone that has more automation tools on the deploying applications. I'm over here spitting. Sound like I was spitting. But literally, uh, cloud engineering is not an entry-level job, is it? Stormy had no degree, no certification, no experience in tech. He didn't even know what a hard drive was. He's now making $300,000 a year. And I like to use Stormy's example because a lot of people think you need a degree, you need search, you need experience. No, you just need literally what I'm telling you, because that's what Stormy did. He learned the problems that they had. He built the projects. I taught him how to communicate effectively your technical experience. Most people in tech don't know how to do that. So if you know how to do that, you're an outlier. And so it's just repetition. So now when it goes to going back to the woman analogy, when you ask the hiring manager, what are some of the problems that you're currently facing? Hey, yo, Shawty, what's going on? Like, what you looking for in a guy? Like what you want? And she's like, yo, I really want a guy that can, provide, that can make me feel safe. Because in this world, there's a lot of men that are creeps, right? By the way, if you guys don't know, there's a lot of women, like there was somebody did like I forgot it was like an auditorium. And they were like, how many, speaking to all the women in this auditorium, within the last 30 days, did you feel like your life was threatened, or did you feel fear or something like that? Your life was going to be threatened or something, I forgot. Literally, like almost every woman raised her hand. And then they said in the last 14 days, and then more women, like it was like a little bit of women like dropped their hands. And then they said in the last 7 days, a little bit of women dropped their hands. In the last 24 hours, you'd be surprised how many women feel like their life is, they're going to lose their life based off of something that a man does or something. My main point is The need of a woman, they want to feel safe. And so that is the need. That is the problem. And if you show up to the marketplace as the solution, right? I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm getting Jim. You can see, well, you get the point, right? If you can show safety in a form of physical or financially security that shows safety, you can solve the desire, the problem. Now, I'm not a woman coach or whatever, a man coach, but literally, it's the same thing for business. It's the same thing for these six-figure cloud roles. You're asked what this is what you ask the interviewer. What are some of the problems that you're currently facing on the specific team that someone who would get hired would be able to solve? Okay. Then they're going to say, oh, I need someone who does this, who does that, who does this. Most people, when the interviewer says, tell me about yourself, you're going to say, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. That's like talking to a girl and say, hey, look at my action figures. Look at my Pokemon cards. Like, look at this. Like, she don't care. But if you ask, hey, what are you looking for? Like, what's some of the things that you actually, care about? And she's like X, Y, and Z. And you're like, wow, that's crazy because I have X, Y, and Z. You literally do the same thing on a job interview. If you go to and I'm always going to reference my Instagram page on my highlights because talk is cheap, but I actually have results. And it took some time to build that. And so type a 1% in the chat if that makes sense. Type a 1% in the chat if that makes sense. So Cam on YouTube, you said, so you would ask that question before the interview starts. You would ask that question before the interview starts. Type a 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. Okay, type a 1% in the chat if you guys are following along. And so I'm gonna start answering the questions and then I'm gonna dip off because I need to get some food. I haven't eaten today. It sounds crazy, right? It's like what? 10, 12. I need to get my charger. It's 10:13 and I have not eaten today. I've been working. I have been working. And so now the problem I see, and this is where most people make mistakes when trying to make six figures. Like for me, I wanted to make a lot of money and work less. You have to be careful what direction you go. I have a friend, he's a SOC analyst, he's in cybersecurity, right? I met him at InvestFest in 2023, amazing guy. He's one of my students now. And when I met him, I gave him similar gems. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I literally, because I was still working at the time. So if you guys don't know, I retired my 9 to 5 last year, 2025, August 8th. But in 2023, I was like, I had my laptops in my backpack, in my bag. And he was like, bro, I got my laptop too, blah, blah, blah. He was like, you working right now? I was like, yeah. And we were like in InvestFest. It's like a conference. Like you guys will be surprised. Cloud is sweet. Like I was working and I was traveling at the same time. It was sweet. And so he was like, bro, you working right now? I was like, yeah. He was like, how many jobs you got? I was like, I got 3. He was like, bro, what? I was like, yeah. And he was like, yo, like I'm a SOC analyst. Like I work night shifts, like blah, blah, X, Y, and Z. Amazing guy, right? His name is TJ. That's my guy. And literally in like 2-3 months, he job stacked. He got multiple offers. He got multiple contracts. And literally he was working from 9 to 5 and then from like 6 to, I forgot, literally he had like 3 hours of sleep every day. And he was making around, I think, $20 to $21,000 a month after tax. And so literally, when I say you have to be careful, not all money is good money because you want something that's highly leveraged. Robert Kiyosaki, he said, you want to understand leverage. All leverage means is that you're making more money and you're working less. I searched up a highly leveraged income skill in tech. Cloud engineering was one of them. And so I took all that money, I invested 90 to 95% of my income. I was still living with my parents, right? And I was able to get to a certain net worth where I literally don't have to work anymore. Like tech is like the cheat code because you make so much money and like you don't even need a degree or cert. My student Stormy, he's making $300,000 right now. He just got his second offer letter last month, $190,000. So if you guys are interested to learning to see if this can work for you, just DM me the word 1%. Me and my team will reach out to you to see if this is something, to see if it's the right fit, right? But what I will say is you have to be careful because not all jobs, not all six-figure tech jobs are created equally, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of these questions and I'm gonna hop off. All right, so, all right, cool. So let's see. So you said, so Fabro, you said, so if they ask you to introduce yourself, you just go in to ask that particular question? Yes. So when they say, oh, tell me about yourself, you say, oh, yeah, before I get into that, do you mind if I ask you a question? Typically they're surprised because most people don't do that. And then they'll say yes. And then you ask that question. You ask, what are some of the problems that you're currently facing on this specific team that someone who would get hired would be able to solve? That will automatically increase the probability of you getting an offer letter because most people don't ask that question and most people ramble about things that they don't care about. They're looking for this, but you're saying all of this other stuff. They want the Tesla, but you're talking about the Camry. You're talking about the Porsche, even though the Porsche is nice. I don't know if y'all saw my story today. I was driving a Porsche, right? That was my little present when I retired. And I waited. Mind you, I was making $25,000 a month for a while, and I was still eating. I was still living with my parents, so it's kind of hard to like. So that was my little present. But I wanted to make a lot of money and secure my financial freedom. Okay, I wanted to secure my financial freedom, and that there's a huge difference. Like you don't want to make a lot of money and then spend it and be broke again. And so that's why you want to be able to build leverage to the point where you don't have to work if you don't want to. So even me coming on live, like that's why I always say you don't have to join I don't need, people's money. That's why I say you can join other programs. You can do it for free. I'm doing this because, and I say this on every live, I wish I had someone telling me this when I started my journey because I wasted so much time, so much money, right? I failed the Security Plus like 4 times or 5 times. I failed it 4 times. I passed it on my 5th time. I wasted, this is $70,000 of bullshit. Literally, you don't even need this. I spent 5 years. I could have got where I am right now 5 years ago if somebody had just told me this. Because, and even if somebody did, I actually wouldn't have listened to them because I was listening to what everybody else said. You need a degree, you need certs, and I did got that, but I was still driving Uber Eats. And so, if the reason why I do this is because I really truly love to help people. I used to want to be a nurse. I dropped out of nursing school, right? If you guys watch my podcast, you'll see like I went to nursing school, I dropped out. A week later after I dropped out, because I'm Nigerian, so that's like very taboo, I tried to commit suicide. And literally, as I was in the car, I was in the garage, and I turned on the car, and right before I was about to pass out, I don't know if I was about to pass out, who knows, but I was in the car for maybe, I don't know how long, but a couple of minutes, and I heard a voice, and it said, "It's not your time." And I literally cut off the car. I went upstairs in my house with my parents. My parents was at home, and I literally just started bawling, crying, because I was so depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and it was literally the worst time ever in my life. Then I was lost. Like I couldn't get out of bed. I literally was like, yo, I just didn't know what to do. I was just hopeless. My mom pushed me to go back to school the next semester. I was lost. I did accounting. I switched my major to accounting, and then I did information systems, and then I did information technology. And when I saw information technology, the foundations, it was a class, I was like, yo, this is everything. This is it. Because my dad used to teach A+, My dad used to teach A plus, right? And I used to be in the class, helping his students. I was like 3, 4, 5. They tell me stuff I don't remember. They were like, yeah, you used to actually change the background for students. You used to do X, Y, and Z. So when I saw that information technology class, the basics, I was like, this is me. I've been around computers my whole life. And so, and I met my mentor at the worst part. It's crazy. I met my mentor when I was lost, when I was broken. Funny enough, he's in tech and he has his own business. Literally, I'm kind of doing the same thing in a different way. And it's just crazy because one of the things I learned from another mentor when there's a fire in your life, there is a hidden gem. When there's a fire in your life, there is a hidden gem. My mentor that I met was a hidden gem, and he was very pivotal to who I am today. So fast forward, I go back to school. I was still depressed. I didn't even go to class. I went to class like one class out the week. I had like 5 classes. It was hard to just even get out of bed. It was hard. But nonetheless, the fast forward, I graduated my IT degree in December 2019. It was difficult, but I still graduated. And no jobs. They said get certs. I got certs. It took me like a year and a half to get all these certs, 3 certs. Still no job. Well, no, that's not true. I was doing an IT technician job, but I got that through a friend. And it wasn't even a full-time job. It was a 2-day contract, but I worked my ass off and I was networking. I was like, oh, y'all need this? All right, cool. Y'all need this? Cool, cool. You need some water? You need some Starbucks? I'll wipe your ass. I'm just kidding. That's disgusting. But I'm just like, literally, I hustled my ass to get like an opportunity. And I saw one, right? I saw one. My team lead on the 2-day project, she put down her phone. I was coming back from break. She put down her phone and she had said something. I was like, what's wrong? She was like, I just declined an offer. I was like, why? She was like, it's in Virginia. I'm trying to move to North Carolina. I said, shit, I'll take it. So she connected me with a hiring manager and I called them. She set up an interview for the Friday. I think it was a Tuesday. I went to the interview and I got the offer for $21 an hour. And that was the worst job of my life and the best job of my life. It was the worst job because it was ass. It was like 5 jobs bulked up into one. Tight deadlines and 3 days SLAs. And I used to have to drive to different banks to switch their IT equipments, to fix different printers. It was hell. It was an IT technician job. But it was the best job because it forced me to read books. I've only read one book in my life and it was Goosebumps. And literally, I read this book. I'm letting y'all know. If y'all read this book is the reason everything started. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I always heard about people talking about it. I was like, When I read this book, I need to reread this book because, now I'm able to see it differently. But this was the book that changed my life and started my journey. After I learned this book, I said, oh, I'm playing the wrong game. I'm playing the wrong game. Right? And so that's when I understood that I needed to learn a high income skill. And so that's when I went to the course, right? The $3,000. I said, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not paying $3,000. I paid $111. 2 weeks later, I lost $1,500. I said, damn, I'm paying ignorance tax. And I could be having the money sooner, but I don't have it because I'm being cheap. Literally, I was being cheap. I didn't have the mindset I needed to actually take the actions that I needed to be successful. And so I ended up paying for the $3,000. I didn't have $3,000. But he taught me it's not about can I afford it, it's how can I afford it. And I figured it out. It wasn't rocket science. But it's hard to take risk. You have to take calculated risk, right? If I'm going to invest this money, right, what is the probability of me getting what you're saying I'm going to get? What I do, I look to see if the guy who I'm investing in has a step-by-step blueprint. Step 1, check. Does 2 or more people have gone through that blueprint and got results? Check. I'm going to be the 3rd person. Because if I don't, I'm still going to be stuck, struggling, figuring it out, stress, paying opportunity costs. For example, for my students, they make I show them a step-by-step blueprint how to make $500,000 a year. That is $25,000 a month after tax in the state of Maryland. If you don't believe me, go to my highlights. You can see the offer letters. You can see the amount of money they're making per month. It's right there. Every single month. So for example, Greg waited 3 months to join my program. Every single month he waited, he was paying $25,000 in opportunity cost. It's a real thing. Because he didn't want to pay. He didn't want to, I don't know what it was. Either he didn't want to pay or he didn't trust me or what, I don't know what it was. But I told him, look, it's no problem. Here's some other resources you can have. But regardless, I told him, bro, take action, like learn this stuff. You don't have to learn it from me. I generally want you to learn it because I know what it did for me. 3 months later, he came back, but he paid $25,000 every month. But Greg is doing very well now. And so $75,000 is what he paid in opportunity cost. A lot of people, there is the price of something and there's the cost. You're going to pay one of them. Which one do you want to pay? And there's no wrong answers, right? If you want to pay the $25,000, because you don't really see that money, it's not leaving your account, but that's money that should be in your account because you don't have this skill set. And so that's why when I look at an investment, I'm saying, what's the price? What's the cost? Do you have a step-by-step blueprint? What's the likelihood of me achieving that? Has 2 people or more gone through that? Yes, I'm gonna be the third person. They're not smarter than me. Like they're not gonna work harder than me. So I know I can get it too. That's just my mindset. But I'm saying this because this is where I went from wanting to end myself, dropping out of nursing school, meeting my mentor, going back to school, graduating. I made it. No. Uber Eats. Got my certs. I made it. No. Uber Eats, right? And then I got an IT technician job. And then, oh, damn, I didn't even see y'all. And then, I was able to learn different skill sets to be able to change my life. But it's not just my life. The people that I love, like my family's life. And now I'm showing other people how to do this as well. And so if anybody's interested, just DM me the word 1% to see if you can get started today. And so I'm going to go ahead and answer all these questions. In your program, do you focus only on cloud engineering or DevOps too, or the skills cut? So we teach, with cloud engineering, when I was a cloud engineer, I was doing DevOps work, right? When I was a DevOps engineer, you're going to be doing site reliability engineer work. Like there's cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, site reliability engineer. It's the same tech stack, honestly, for a well-rounded cloud engineer. I teach everything, like cloud engineer, DevOps engineer, and site reliability engineer. You might think it's a lot, it really isn't. And so when you finish my program, you can go for cloud engineer jobs, site reliability engineer jobs, and DevOps engineer. And you need to really understand all three. You need to understand how to build and manage infrastructure. That's the job of a cloud engineer. That's really their job. They just like to mix different shit. DevOps engineer, you need to be able to automate a deployment process, deploying applications effectively to that infrastructure that you just built, like cloud engineers. And then site reliability engineers, you need to be able to monitor the infrastructure, right? From like a hardware perspective and an application perspective, right? That's site reliability engineer. But a well-rounded cloud engineer, this is the advice that I got from a 25 years of experience cloud engineer. He said, a cloud engineer, a really good one, knows all three. And that's what I teach, right? And so Lex Toad 8627, I teach cloud engineer, DevOps, and site reliability. Samuel, you said, can I be a part of the program without any previous knowledge? Yes. If you know what a hard drive is, you know more than Stormy. Stormy just knew how to open up a computer and search something up on Google. He didn't even know what a hard drive was. He had a testimonial interview with me on my YouTube channel. You can see, what he said about my program and his experience. He didn't know anything, and he still doesn't have a college degree or certs, and he's making $300,000 a year. And so, stream notes for those interested. What are some of the problems that this is for Tech is Future. Yeah. What are some of the problems Nice. Cool. So YouTube, I got you guys out the way. And Instagram, let's see what you guys got for me. And so, all right, cool. So how many of you guys actually thought this was useful or helpful? Type of 1% in the chat. Let me actually, how many of you guys actually thought this was useful? Right? Type of 1% in the chat. How many of you guys actually thought this was useful? Let me get this on live. So how many of you guys actually thought this was useful? Go ahead and type a 1% in the chat. Okay. 1%, 1%. Cool, cool. So how many of you guys are coming tomorrow? Right, I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems. The same thing. Nice. 1%. Nice, nice. Okay. Nice. Cool. So let's go ahead with the question. So how many of you guys actually thought I had to get some content? And so, yeah, honestly, guys, I love what I do. Like, it's very fun to see people's like lives being impacted, like people's whole lives, families' lives. They have more time for their kids. They have more money. They can go on vacations. They can work while being on vacation. It's kind of insane. And it doesn't, I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy doing what I do, teaching and building this stuff, but it's worth it. It is worth it when you see people's lives. If you go to my Instagram stuff or my YouTube testimonials, you can see like it's just life changing. It's crazy. And it's not rocket science. All right, so he said, sorry I joined late. Not sure if you mentioned in the beginning what happened to the gift. And so, yeah, we're going to go over that tomorrow. I didn't reach out. I forgot to reach out to my team, but I reached out to them on the call. They're going to get everybody who commented, and then I'm going to choose a winner. I'll probably post it too on my actual page. I'm an incident response analyst where I just got laid off from NASA after 2 years. I'm interested in cloud security, not to be crazy, but how much is your program, like the fees to learn your cloud? And so it depends on the type of support that you need, but we do have affordable options for somebody who is serious. And I tell anybody, please do not reach out to us. Do not comment 1%. So if you're interested, DM me the word 1% to get started. But the reason why I say don't comment, don't join my program is because I don't want you, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is not something that is, you have to put in the work. And so I've seen people who join the program, they don't put in the work. We have a team that work with you one-on-one, right? You're partnered with a career coach. We have a step-by-step system. We're checking in with you. We reach out to you. We text you, right? But if you don't show up for yourself, if you don't respond, we still have to reach out to you. We still have to text you. It's not something where you pay and you don't hear from us. No, we have to get you results, right? And so it's just more work on us, and it's easier to work with somebody. Greg, we did not have to check in with him. Like, we do weekly check-ins. Every day he was like, I'm done week 1, I'm done week 2. It's an 8-week, program. I'm done week 1, I'm done week 2 on like the same day. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? And so Greg was the person that said, I'm ready to learn how to make $500,000 a year. And so he waited 3 months and he texted me. He got me on Instagram. I'm ready to make 500. So he was ready. And so, but nonetheless, the price of the program it depends on how much support you need. But we have options for literally almost anybody. If you're serious, the price, the money is not it should never be the problem, because we actually have solutions for that. If you can't afford it, right? We have different solutions. And so, but that question sounds like it's embedded in the job role when it was put up, if you get what I mean. Yeah, 1000%. But like most people, I didn't go over like what you need to understand. There is a technical problem that's typically like obvious on the job description, or like when you ask them, hey, what's the problem you have? They'll tell you the technical problem. But you have to ask something else. There's a business problem too as well. You need to be able to answer both on interviews to position you as one of the top candidates on any job interview. This is what I teach. And so the business problem, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's my students, they do invest into the program, and there's certain proprietary systems I don't let out. And so that's not something I'm gonna share. I might share it later on another live, but this live is about to end anyway. So, but yeah, there's a technical problem and a business problem that you need to solve. Could you land a cloud IM role too? 1000%. Like cloud, that's like, I think it's like the easiest like role to get in, because it's like you're just You're looking at permissions for users. You're making sure that they have least privilege. You're making sure that, you know, the roles are updated. It's so easy. Like identity access management is so easy. Darina, it's good to see you. I'm just seeing you. I don't know if you're still on the call. Cool, cool. Same here, same thing here tomorrow. Yes, sir. How much is your program? Everything. Look, I mean, I just answered it, but all right, cool, cool. Nice. So those who joined, number one, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you guys joining. I was really tired. I actually did not want to go live, but I'm sticking to it. I'm trying to go live every day, and I want to show up for you guys. And so, once again, if you're interested to join the program, just DM us the word 1%. We're gonna take you through a process, right? We don't just accept anybody. We need to make sure that we're spending our time and energy. It's me and my team. We're spending our time and energy to select the right person who's serious, who's going to go through the blueprint to actually get the results. And so we're very selective, but if you're serious, I would say that is the biggest qualifier. I'm just giving you the answer to the test. Serious, you're ready to commit, because those qualities is what you need. Even when you're in the program, you need to be serious and you need to be committed because you need to go through the steps consistently. And so you're not going to do that if you're not serious. And so if you are serious and you're ready to commit, just DM us the word 1% and we'll show you how to get started today. And so that's pretty much it. I answered all the questions. If you guys have any questions too as well, just DM us and I'll see you on the next call. Deuce.